I'm
closer
going
to
first.
me. You don't like me.
After today, it's so tough.
Oh my goodness. Hello. Welcome back to our channel. Long time no see.
Oh my god, it's been forever. What's up,
A
guys?
whole year has passed.
Wow, everyone, last time I saw you guys, I didn't have gray hairs. Now here I am.
Stop. Sorry we haven't been posting anything. Our life has been pretty boring. Not much is going on, but there's a lot to come, so make sure you subscribe because we'll actually have fun content coming up because we're about to move.
Crawling out of the hole.
Yeah,
That
our
was 2020.
2020 hole. We're leaving that
I'm
and
free.
entering a new year. So when you guys are seeing this video, it will have been our 3-year wedding anniversary. So we thought it would be fun to do a marriage Q&A, advice, assumptions video. all things.
It's a breakdown.
All things about our love.
So sit down, saddle up, stand back down, sit back down, because we're about to take you for a breakdown of our marriage.
Oh goodness.
All right.
Okay.
So am I going first? I was told I was to kick it off.
Yeah, you start.
Kick off the first question.
Yes.
So what are we gonna do? Question for question. I'll do a question. You do a question. Kyla does a question. Cersei does a question.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go first off with the first question. So here I go. This is me kicking it off, breaking it down. So the first question we got was, how old were we when we started dating? My memory isn't the best, but I'm pretty positive I was 18, 17? Was I 17?
No, I was 17. You were 19.
I was 19. There goes my memory.
Yeah, we met during spring break when I was still a junior in high school, but we didn't start dating until the summer, July 1st,
We were actually good
2013.
friends.
We were good friends?
Well, we were friends first.
Yeah, we were friends first.
We didn't do anything sexual yet.
Yeah.
We actually were mutual friends. We met through a mutual couple that was dating. Shout out to you guys if you guys are watching, know who you are.
Yes, yeah. My best friend at the time was dating his best friend, and so we were like the ultimate
Banana.
double date.
The ultimate banana, which is another story we'll bring you
That'll
guys
be a
to.
story time. We should bring Yolan for that one.
Don't let us out of this one. Make sure in the comments, I want to hear people saying, what is the ultimate banana? Hashtag ultimate banana in the comments.
We'll
Let's
have
get
a
it
guest.
going.
We'll have some guests in for that one too, because that was a whole group event.
That was a whole ass event. The ultimate banana. Anyways, I don't
Yeah,
want to get into that.
back to when we started dating. Yes. So we were in high school, and yeah.
17, 19. Put that together. It's not 40 yet.
And then another question was, how old were we when we got engaged and then married? So we got engaged, I was 20, so he would have been 22. And then when we got married, I was 22 and he was 24. If you want to do all the math to see how long we were dating to marry, you do the math. I don't feel like doing it now. So yeah.
Now we get into some of the juicier questions.
The juicy question.
Y'all want to know so many early marriage questions. We got you. We did this. We broke this barrier for all of you.
We're here to tell you what to do, what not to do.
And everything in between.
And pros and cons to being together forever. So, should we do pros first? Should we start positive or start
That was our
cons?
next one, right? What were the pros and cons?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do cons first. I never like ending things off on a cons
Okay.
list. That just sounds horrible.
So, cons for getting married young.
Could be financially tough if you don't play your cards right, but
Well, I mean, getting married young in general, you're just a young adult, and so the chances of you being so fully established at a young age, so like for us at 20, you're not super established, but you are an adult and you are working your way to your established self. So it's hard. And a con, I guess, would be that not only are you trying to find yourself and your path, but your significant other is too. Or you have to kind of make sure that your paths are kind of going in the same direction. Because I feel like that's even just in couples in general, when you're at that age, if you're significant other's going this way and you're going this way, well, you're not gonna be together because your lives are pulling you in different directions. So you have to almost be extra aware that you guys are going the same direction. I would say, I think the biggest con is that you're worrying about yourself and your significant other more than you would if you were, you know, done with school, in your 30s, established, have your own stuff. Like, I feel like you don't have to worry about where your
or you could be approaching your 30s and still love Star Wars just as much.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So I would say that's a con. Do you have any other cons?
Cons, it's tough because like a con is kind of like an all bad type of situation. And I don't think there's like, it's kind of hard to just categorize things into like a con. Maybe I would just say some of the things, and this will probably bring us into the next question that we had, like some of the things that like, especially like older people, even some people your age, like have the audacity to say to you for some reason. Like everyone thinks they need to give you their 2 cents and they're like, you're getting married at this age, you gotta travel the world, you gotta spread your seed. I'm like, really? Because like, I don't think you've ever done that. Like most of the people that will tell you that stuff, that's probably a con. There's a lot of people that want to give you their 2 cents and they don't even have a penny to give you. So you gotta watch out for that because everyone will put their 2 cents.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to that one because that was a question. And I have a lot to say about that one because I feel like I had to deal with that a lot more. Pros of being married young is you're spending your whole entire life. You have your youth, your middle age, and God willing,
oh well,
our elderly years like together will have I feel like you just have so many more experiences together. And I feel like you grow stronger because it starts earlier in a sense. So you have just even deeper roots into your relationship.
Deeper roots, I like that.
And of course, like you can date someone for a decent amount of time before getting married and have not been married young. And I think it still ties in. It's just, I think being committed young, you
have more energy to problem solve. You have more energy. I mean,
we're not tired. I fight later.
Well, you have more energy to like problem solve and grow on the relationship. Like I don't know. I think there's something that when you are younger and you do start younger, there's a fire. You still have that fire. There's a little bit more fire and passion in your life, and you know, you can definitely go ahead and apply that. You usually have more energy to either problem solve, fix fights, see how you can grow, like change. Like you're not as set in your ways. I mean, one thing, like a lot of people, as they creep closer to like 30, you really get set in your ways. So you have to keep that in mind. It's not just, oh, you get married young, you know, well, you don't know this, you don't know this. But also, you know, it's easier to mold when 2 people are softer. Yeah. And I think when you're not as set in your ways, and it's a lot easier to grow that piece that you have to share with that other person. You take those 2 pieces, it's a lot easier for that piece to blossom than it is obviously when you're both hardened, you're a little more set in your ways. A lot of shit can happen, and you can beat that up. A lot of shit can happen in between, you know, those early 20s, even into your mid 20s. A lot of stuff, a lot of great stuff. Also, a lot of devastating relationship stuff. A lot of people, you know, there's a lot of crazy people in this world. And I don't think age kind of defines when you meet the right person, and when you find that you love them and you grow with them. It's beautiful no matter what age you are. You can't, it's like people trying to predict coronavirus and what symptoms you're going to get from coronavirus. It's random for everyone.
Yeah.
So, you know, take that as well. All right, so our next question that we want to get to that we were asked, do we regret getting married young? Do we think we should have waited longer? I'm going to come right out and say, no. That's completely ridiculous. Getting married, you know, wishing that you waited longer or getting married young, it's something that you more think of when you're single and you're not married. When you actually get married, at least for me, this is how I feel. So I don't know, you know, I haven't told you this, but as time goes on, I'm so appreciative that we got married when we did. And it's because of basically what we just explained in the last question. I feel like I had a lot more energy to grow with you. I definitely feel like there was a lot of growing that needed to be done, and it was a lot easier to do at the age that I did it than if let's say we were to get together like now and then like you're already in your ways. It wouldn't go the same way. And I don't know. But then again, you know, we are happily married, I would say, compared to most. So we might be the wrong people to ask on that. I don't know. Ask some unhappy people if you want a bad answer.
Oh, sassy. Yeah, no, we don't regret getting married young.
So the short answer is no, we don't regret it.
It's so intense.
I hate to break your heart, whoever asked that question.
Karen.
Fuck you, Karen! I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I got a question that asked a piece of advice that we wish we would have gotten before we got married. And like I said, we got a lot of unsolicited advice, but I do think, when I think about like what would have been helpful, I think if someone, aka like maybe your siblings or like my parents would have like encouraged us to start a combined savings when we were still dating, because obviously our money was all separated.
Yeah.
And then when we got married, it kind of just all together, and that was a little bit of an adjustment, because you're used to you spending your own money, and now your money's combined, and you're like, well, where is this going? Like, I think if we would have had a savings together, that would have been helpful in a way of once we got married, we would have had just like both our money combined, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the only thing I could think of, because everything else, we either got good advice or we learned from other people's mistakes, as sad as that is. But it's a way of learning, so I think that would have been helpful. That would have been good advice, I think, to have started that.
Yeah, all the advice, I got a lot of good advice. I had a lot of good advice from like people around me, so I wouldn't say that that would probably be the only one. I don't really know another piece of advice that would really be like that detrimental.
We're blessed to have a lot of long-term marriages and relationships in our life. Like, most of we really don't have a lot of divorce, so we have a lot to learn from our families, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
The next one, I'll let you read it.
What's the next one? Me?
Yeah.
So the next one is, did you get any negative reactions for getting married? I guess this one's kind of combined with the last one that we just did. I guess you could like cut to my previous rant. But of course, everyone is going to get reactions for getting married young.
Uncalled.
You're watching this, you're a young couple getting married. There is some miserable person out there that's like, getting married,
like
sucks to suck.
For my sister and her boyfriend are kind of how Alec and I were at their age, and so I even find myself sometimes having to defend their relationship, as I had to do for ours on multiple occasions, which is not necessarily, you don't have to, but you almost feel obligated to, and it's exhausting. But no, I used to get, because I also look really young, especially when I don't have makeup on, I really do look a lot younger than my age. And most of the times I got comments when I worked at Bloomingdale's, most of the customers were older, and most of them were very unhappily divorced. And the comments that they would say were just like so outrageous. It would always be like, oh my God, you're so young. Oh my God, are you sure you want to get married? Do your parents approve? Like, you don't even know my name. You're asking me my parents' approval. It was really backwards. And we had a couple of people our age, more, I would say my friends are like people that I knew in high school, that had negative things to say, which again, usually the people that have something negative to say have their own things that they're dealing with that they're unhappy with, and so it kind of just like triggers something, and then that's the response that you're given, which is not right. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not happy for me, that don't really matter, because you're not.
If they're not happy for themselves, which they're not going to be happy for you. So you just have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
People are going to say just like inappropriate, weird things, especially older people. I don't know. People of all age groups, but like older people, especially like we live in South Florida for now, they have no filter on it. They'll blurt out whatever pops into that old noggin, the dust off the spider webs, and they just right out the mouth.
I got a lot of
I had a lot of guys telling me to travel the world and spread my seed like some kind of like Viking. And I was like, dude, you haven't gotten laid in like 15 years, don't front. Like, they'd be like, you're not going to go out there. I'm like, dude, you're not going to go out there. I'm not going to go out there.
Another question we got was there anything that I would have changed about our wedding? Or we would have changed, even though I was in charge. Made it longer.
Made it a whole day wedding. Start at noon, end at midnight. 12 hours.
Honestly, yes, because we had a night wedding, and so our wedding started at 7.
Yeah, I think
5.
so.
5.
I don't remember. What
I don't
for
remember. No, it was. I think it was 7, honestly, which is like really late at night. I would say. I think that's a good answer. Longer.
Our next question that we got was tips on getting over a fight. Getting through a fight. I mean, getting through a fight it's so different for everyone. So getting through a fight is not something I think we're qualified to tell people.
No, because we're not that good at that yet.
Everyone's very different. Self-awareness is probably the best piece of advice I can give you. Self-awareness. Having self-awareness in the moment, that's a stretch. It's very, very difficult to do. It totally can be done, obviously, with enough practice. You need to drop your pride sometimes, and you need to be able to come in the middle. And I think that's for both.
There's a difference between listening to the other side of the argument, and there's another side of you understanding. Because you can go back and forth and just keep saying your bit, but if you're not actually understanding where they're coming from and trying to like solve it that way, then your fight's gonna end by you guys just being exhausted from yelling back and forth, and then you're just gonna go your separate ways, and the fight will pick back up at some point.
And it's more, just as important as self-awareness, spouse awareness is important too. It's really important to know how your spouse and really know, and this is done through repetition, really understanding, not just knowing how your spouse copes with a fight or an argument and how you cope with a fight or an argument. Because for a lot of people, it will be two different things. Not everyone copes the same way with fights or arguments, or how long they hold on to arguments or things like that.
Because ours are different.
Ours are different. We have different ways that we get over fights.
Yeah, I like to. I need like a moment to a few moments to kind of like calm down and collect my thoughts and then come back. Whereas Alec likes to solve it right then and there, and so that is where our issue lies. Is that our way of communicating through arguments and disagreements is different, and so that's something that we're, obviously no one's perfect. That's something that we work on, because you have to be it has to be effective. You can't just argue to argue. It has to come to a solution.
Yeah, it definitely does. And don't go to sleep. Do not go to sleep after an argument unless you resolve that argument. I personally can't do that. So I'm not able to do that. I feel like she could probably do that.
I'm guilty of doing that. Like I said, I need some time.
I can't.
Sometimes I sleep through that time.
I can't do that.
Not like sleep, but like nap. Take a nap because I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I mean it's really, really important getting through a fight. Also, really important if you're getting through a fight. When you're done with the fight and you made up, you need to have that bond and that closeness and like express your emotions, share some love. Like, it is very important. At least for me, it's really, really important. But I think self-awareness and being aware of your spouse and how they handle things, that really, really helps with fights.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Or just don't be a little rude.
The last question we had almost like an assumption tied to it. So the assumption was that I wanted kids right away after we got married, and that he didn't. And I wouldn't say that that's not true, but I feel like I've wanted kids since like the beginning of time.
Since birth. Since she was a kid,
I was a baby,
kids.
I wanted a baby. Honestly, I think for the longest time I've wanted kids. So a part of me did want kids right after we got married, but at the same time...
But you weren't unrealistic or harassed me or like anything. No. You knew the whole time. I mean, she was like, I want kids. And it was the same way in which I wanted kids. She knew she wanted kids, but obviously she knew there was work to be done first.
Yeah. I wanted them on our terms. If we could
help
control it. Yeah, obviously if we would have gotten pregnant, we would have been happy, but if we could have controlled the situation a little bit more, then that's what we were planning. And then the question was, when are we going to have kids? Because all my friends are always asking. I don't know if your friends ask, but my friends are always asking.
Oh yes, my friends, Jordan, Nick, if you're watching this, you guys got to stop harassing me about asking when I'm having kids. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, come on. But I mean, It's hard because right now there is still a pandemic going on, and I would rather not have to go to doctor's appointments alone, wear a mask during labor. Like, it doesn't sound comfortable or enjoyable. If I could control that, I would like to wait until things are relatively back to normal. So, I mean, we're going to be moving soon. We're going to have, like, our ducks are kind of lining up in a row. In a perfect world, you know, maybe we get, like, I don't know when we would have them, maybe next year, 2022. So pregnant, like, maybe at the end of the year. I don't know. It's not always in your control, but that would be nice, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, it would definitely be nice. It's funny because the longer, like, the longer we kind of waited to have kids, the more I ended up wanting kids. I always knew that I wanted kids, but obviously I knew that I wanted to have them. I originally wanted them at 30.
He used to say 30, and I'm like, my biological clock. I've wanted them since I was 8. I gotta wait till 30. It's a long time. But yeah, you used to say 30, and I always was like, I was pushed it. You'll have a kid at 30. Maybe your second one. That would be really hard. I'd have to pop out 2 in 3 years. That would be really difficult. But
is that all our questions?
Yeah.
We have no more questions. Well, you guys suck. You should have asked more questions.
Yeah, you not following us on Instagram?
Sounds like it.
Rude. I'm gonna put our Instagrams right here. We don't post that much, but we're cute. If you like cats, we always got cat footage.
Hey, I post a lot of cool footage. Sometimes I'll post my cats. Sometimes I'll post my lightsabers. Sometimes I'll post my cats again. Food. Sometimes I'll post cats and lightsabers and food in the same picture. So if you're into that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, we gotta go. We're going to enjoy some Mexican food because we love burritos. So if you guys love burritos and you want to hear our ultimate banana story, drop that comment down below. #ultimatebanana. It's coming. We got you. Don't worry.
We'll see you guys in our next one.
Maybe.
Maybe. Bye.